The hospital now has food. We make the same meal every day. We said that we're making manna because it's meeting their nutritional needs, and it's the same thing every day. The ladies are just making manna. This patient here, he suffers from the effects of leprosy. He was in the hospital because when he was going to the pharmacy to get more pills, because he knows about his disease, he takes care of himself, but as he was driving there on his moto, he didn't realize that his foot, which you don't have a lot of feeling in your extremities when you have leprosy, was on his exhaust pipe. And so his shoe then melted to his foot. So he was in the hospital for a skin graft, and he was going to be there for a long time because with leprosy you have poor circulation in your extremities. And so he was there. As a patient with leprosy, he also doesn't have a care provider for him. Nobody's there to help him through this. Nobody's there for him at all. So to have meals provided, he thought this was wonderful. And he was so wonderful that he started looking around to see what he could help with. And here's another patient. This patient on the floor, this lady is Emily. Emily suffers from epilepsy, and during a seizure, she had fallen into her cooking fire. She sustained major burns on her body. This happened about 2 weeks before we got there, and she lost most of her left arm and parts of her right arm when she was there. A long story short, her family eventually just ditched her at the hospital because she's a burden now. But thankfully, the feeding program was getting off the ground, up and running, and Emily, who did not have a good prognosis when we got there, started to be fed by, this is Papa Leon, the gentleman that has leprosy. So he's taking her token and going in to get her food and spoon feeding it to her. And Emily starts to get better. Emily is now out walking and has her own food token a couple weeks later. She can go to the kitchen herself and start to get food. And she's well enough, she's starting to feed herself, which is a miracle. Is this not what we all work for? To help our partner ministries advance the gospel worldwide. Physical healing is great, but because of that, there's been spiritual healing. Some of my friends there have sent me pictures of Emily praying to our powerful God. It's amazing what the Lord can do when we put our skills and passions that He's given us in His hands.